thank you for this freedom to come and worship, the liberty that we have to be here tonight. We worship you, Almighty God, even through this time here tonight. Let us conduct ourselves in a Christ-like manner. Praise God that Floyd and Brenda are back among us tonight. It's a blessing to have them here. Be guide and direct us tonight. We ask in thy precious and holy name. Amen.
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 You would remain standing and say the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You know, it's a blessing to be here and not have any disharmony. You can't even watch a political debate or a mouth and not trouble. I told them at work I was going, they said, you better be careful now. Thank God it's gonna be like it is. It's
Where'd you
peace.
buy it?
Nothing but love and harmony here.
They must not
That's
tell
all
us
this
about
is. Enter in a 30-year
It's like
agreement
that.
with them.
I like it.
I want to make sure that,
You're not doing this tonight.
no.
It's that shock factor on that.
Mr. Mayor, do I have an agenda?
Yes.
It's cold in here. Or it just made my blood red. Coumadin check was 6 months. I was up then, I think. I'm gonna bleed today. It was 2.3, 2.5. It was 6 points. She said it was 6. I gotta go back to Wednesday. You gonna ride with me?
All right, I'd like to call this meeting to order. And we'll go ahead and have the roll call.
Myrtle Binkley. Here. Eugene County.
Here.
Mayor Seth.
Here.
Brenda Lowe. Here. Floyd Philpott.
Here.
Steve Brewer.
Here.
Thank you, sir. Got a quorum.
All right, thank you very much.
And may I say, it is wonderful having all the seats there.
All right. If you have a cell phone, if you would, please mute it during our meeting, and it would be greatly appreciated. All right. All right. I didn't edit these. I didn't edit the agenda very well. I see a couple of things that still
Oh,
left over from
I see
January.
that. Yeah, that's okay.
All right.
Mr. Mayor, you're gonna have to speak up a little bit because I don't have hearing aids and I can't hear you.
All right.
Thank you.
Haven't said much yet, but I will. All right, let's go ahead and review the minutes from previous meetings.
Okay.
Can I
Regular
say,
meeting of February the 15th, 2016. Town council meeting, the regular meeting of the town council was held at 7 p.m. on February 15th, 2016 in the town hall. The invocation was given by Mr. Don Hagel. The pledge of allegiance was given by Mayor Arthur Self called the meeting to order. Roll call was had. The following persons were present: Mayor Arthur Self, Councilors Myrtle Van Cleet, Eugene Kiley, Brenda Lowe, and Steve Brewer. Councilor Floyd Philpott and Clerk Brenda Philpott were absent. A welcome was given to the public in attendance, and all were asked to please mute or turn off cell phones during meeting. The floor will be open for public comments after the council completes its agenda. Approval of minutes from last meeting. The minutes of the November 9th, December 14th, and January 12th meeting were read. A motion was made to accept them as read by Steve Brewer and seconded by Eugene Kiley. Motion carried. Financial reports given, all accounts in balance. Motion to accept financial reports by Brenda Lowe, seconded by Steve Brewer. Motion carried. Open items concerning the survey of town property. There is no update. Mayor Self noted that there is a Facebook page created for the town of County Line. This page can be found at www.facebook.com /county line AL. Mayor Self also spoke about the next door neighborhood account for county line. You can find Nextdoor at http://countylineal.nextdoor.com. To create this account, you must first log in and verify your address. For those who have smartphones, there is an app where you can receive notices from the Nextdoor neighborhood. New business, memorandum of understanding with Jefferson County. This MOU was discussed. Myrtle Van Cleet made a motion to sign this agreement with our attorney's approval. Discussion was had concerning the logo suggested by the BCEOB, that's Blount County Economic Development Council, for the town of County Line. There were 3 suggested logos. Motion was made by Eugene Kiley to approve logo number 2. Steve Brewer second. The vote was unanimous. Mayor Self said that we need to get more bids on the remodel of the restroom. Brenda Lowe asked if we would be using the voting machines at the next election. Mayor Self said that we would be using the machines. This election would be held in the town hall. Also noted that there were several things that the mayor and council must do before election time. These tasks can be found online. Go to the Alabama League of Municipalities website to find a link with this information. Steve Brewer asked if we could turn some of the street lights back on. Mayor noted that we need to refer to the light pole list to determine which ones could be turned on. Steve is to get us a list of the poles that need to be turned on. Adjournment, a motion was made by Steve Brewer and seconded by Myrtle Van Cleet to adjourn this meeting at 8 p.m. Respectfully submitted by Lucy Kiley for Brenda Philpott, Town Clerk.
Under section 5, new business, the 4th paragraph, at the end of the line, instead of next election, you have next election.
I have that, so, see right here, at the end of the line. Yes, I do, I apologize, okay.
Any other questions or comments?
Gotcha.
Okay,
I
Go
make a
ahead.
motion. Are we gonna do that then before we?
Yeah.
Okay.
go ahead with the special meeting.
Okay,
You need to approve each one this
Town
time.
County Line special meeting, February 25th, 2016. The town council meeting, special meeting of the town council was held at 7 p.m. on February 25th, 2016 in the town hall. The invocation was given by Councilwoman Myrtle Van Cleet and the Pledge of Allegiance was given by all in attendance. Mayor Arthur Self called to order a special council meeting. The roll call was had. The following persons were present: Mayor Arthur Self, Councilors Myrtle Van Cleet, Eugene Kiley, Brenda Lowe, and Steve Brewer. Councilor Floyd Philpott and Clerk Brenda Philpott were absent. Ordinance 2016-001 to be discussed. Mayor Self explained that we were here to revise this ordinance in order to include this ordinance to include the sales and use 2% tax. Brenda Lowe made motion to consider this ordinance 2016-001 on first reading. Eugene Kiley seconded. Brenda Lowe made motion to accept as read, and Steve Brewer seconded. A roll call vote was unanimous. No open issues, no other issues were discussed. Adjournment. Motion was made to adjourn at 7:45 PM by Steve Floyd and seconded by Eugene Cowell. Respectfully submitted by Lucy Cowell, by Brenda, or for Brenda Philpott, Town Clerk.
The only correction I see is, the motion to consider on first reading. We have the motion and the second, but it was passed unanimously, and it needs to be noted as such.
Okay, now where, motion, let's see,
Where it says Brenda Lowe made a motion.
to accept as read.
Yeah, but after that, it needs to be,
Noted that it was passed unanimously.
Okay. all
There's
right.
two separate motions there.
Oh, okay, so you made a motion to accept as read.
On the first reading,
We did that, Brenda Lowe
and there
did
was a
that.
second on it.
Eugene Kylie seconded.
But after that, it needs to note that it was approved unanimously.
Oh, that one needs to say unanimously too.
Yes. So
Okay.
it has to be a unanimous vote in order to,
A unanimous vote on first reading and on,
right?
on,
But it needs to be unanimous on the first, motion to consider on first reading. Has to be unanimous before we can actually take it.
yeah, well, I did that on the unanimous for the first, for the,
As
as
read.
read. But on the first reading, it should have a roll call vote was unanimous also.
we didn't do a.
Well, it was
roll call vote.
unanimous,
Yeah,
but it was not a roll call vote, but it was a unanimous vote.
Okay. It just put it was a unanimous vote.
Mhm.
Okay.
All right, any other corrections or comments for the minutes of the special meeting? All right, do we have a motion to accept with corrections?
Mayor, you need to do both those individually, I think.
Okay. All right, let's go with the regular meeting. Do we have a motion to,
I make a motion, we accept with corrections.
okay,
I second.
all right. All in favor? That's unanimous. All right, the minutes, the special meeting, February 25th. Do we have a motion to
I'll
accept
make the
with
motion.
corrections?
Make the motion.
Make a motion to accept with corrections,
So Floyd made the motion to accept the special meeting.
correct?
I second it.
I think Eugene's already
Okay,
accepted.
yeah.
Oh, it has to.
Yeah, Eugene.
He don't talk
All in
about it.
favor? All in favor? Okay. That is also unanimous. Okay. All right, now to the financial reports. Have we got 2 months worth of financials here? I think so. Yeah. There are two months worth of financial reports. Let's start with the period ending January 31st and the general fund. All right, the beginning balance for the general fund was $3,047.90. Our ending balance was $16,350.16. All right. Let's go to the 2 and 7 account for January 31st, ending January 31st. Beginning balance is $4,216.08. Ending balance is $4,643.62. The capital improvements fund for the period ending January 31st. The beginning and ending balances at $2,407.02. And then the 4, 5, and 6 account for the period ending January 31st. Beginning balance, $7,812.90. And the ending balance is $8,202.23. All right. Any questions or comments about the January 31st period? Okay. We'll go ahead and move on to period ending February 29th.
Did you get approval on the January?
Comment?
Did you get
approval on
motion?
January?
Did you get a motion and approval?
No,
Oh,
financial, we'll just do them all at once for the financial. The minutes, we do have to keep them
Okay.
separate.
all right.
All right, for the period ending February 29th, for the capital improvements fund, beginning and ending balances are $2,407.02. The 4, 5, and 6 account, beginning balance was $7,585.79. The ending balance was $8,331.73. And the 2 and 7 account, the beginning balance is $5,065.87. The ending balance, $4,805.13. And we do not have the general fund for January because of the discrepancy in the reconciliation, which is going to be straightened out by the bank.
Mayor, we have the bank statement with the bank balance, and the bank balance.
It's the bank balance, let me get them the numbers. The beginning was $9,818.101. Then the ending balance on this is $18,592.48. And it was a $30 discrepancy, keeping it from balance.
And tell them what the $30 discrepancy was.
And
It is a bank error, complete and total bank error.
his check is written for $60 right there, it was a 2 months. And underneath there, it says, gives that check number, the date, and it says $30, which is all they took out, $30.
So it's
There-
the mayor's fault.
Yeah.
Therefore, well, his bank should have called it though, I guess.
No, it
Because don't it
It's,
get a
uh,
picture of the check?
is,
Don't it get a picture?
it is my fault.
Well-
Well, we don't-
Only
no,
deposited
not necessarily,
$30.
not
But that's all I
necessarily.
entered, that's all I entered.
You don't give them a picture though, like they don't give a,
No,
oh, okay.
It makes a
Anyway,
picture of the check, doesn't it, when it goes through like that? Doesn't it show a picture
Yeah.
of the check? Then the
thing
cashier
about
at
it
the
is,
bank
when that
should have been out of
teller's
balance
standing up there,
because.
and I can tell you this from experience, we go by what's on the deposit slip. We can't look at the checks all day. I
Supposed to go
mean,
by what's
some
on the
people
check.
come in there with 100 checks to deposit, businesses, and
Yeah.
so we go by those. And then, you know, later, then it goes to proof, and they check everything.
They credited my account with exactly the line that they're doing. I mean, they,
You cheated yourself.
yeah, I did. And that was it was my error.
Yeah.
You don't know, it took me to find that.
I just so used to having $30,
Uh-huh.
get a $60 check and messed
Mayor,
up.
technically, you could approve it with that correction and not have to go over it again next month, I mean, with that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because we do have written proof, and it is on the bank.
Yeah.
Like I said.
Well,
And it's being corrected.
well, we can go ahead and consider that with corrections. So,
Prove it with correction.
any other
Thank you, Mr. Gray.
questions or comments about the financial reports? All right, do we have a motion to accept the corrections?
I'll second it.
Okay, Floyd made the motion to accept with correction.
All of it with corrections.
Yes. Steve seconded. All in favor? All right, it's unanimous. All right. All right, open items. Still haven't heard anything new on the survey.
That's not nice, when you
Okay.
said that.
All right, we are still waiting on, we've requested and I had a couple of people take a look at the bathroom remodel. And we're expecting written bids soon. So within the next month or two, we should be able to at least have an idea who we're gonna have do it. But I'd like to, we've got at least two
He just put
coming,
it
right?
in.
Yes,
He
two
didn't
more.
tear it out to see what
Two
needed to be
additional,
done.
possibly a
And he
third.
didn't charge us for that, they just,
Okay.
they
Uh,
could get banned.
So that's still
They can't get him to
ongoing.
do it.
Did we ever get any clarification from Jefferson County on that EMA bill?
Not as far as how many people that they're charging us for, only that it's $1.33 per.
Per person?
Give an estimate check.
Well, they're charging us for the entire town, Jefferson County is. You send us a bill for the EMA services for the entire town, and we're disputing it.
I don't know how that makes me.
If they were get back to us about it, we'll give them some figures, but, we're not gonna pay for the
Did you come up
$265.
with a figure for, just an estimate?
I did have a number. I'll have to look at it again,
Okay.
but it is not 260,
Jefferson County, there's-
265.
When you get it, if you shoot us an email, Brenda an email down here, and we can call her, tell her what it is,
I'll have to dig that up again.
or tell her what we come up with.
All right. Well, I did not add this to the agenda, but I thought I did, and I just didn't. I passed a copy out to members of the council of the 2016 municipal election calendar. This is a document that's prepared by the League of Municipalities in anticipation of the municipal election in August. There's several things that we have to do over the next few months in preparation for the election. But I passed out a copy of the calendar for everybody to read over and get an idea of what our responsibilities are in the coming months. At this point in time, there is nothing that we have to do this month or next but in May,
March 31st.
on March 31st, as if we're changing we're not making any changes in the districts. We're not setting up districts. Everything is going to be at large, remaining at large, so we're not making any changes there. But if we were going to, we would have to make it by the end of this month.
Well, this
Actually, it is,
says to number the places for election purposes.
but it,
Don't you all have a number, or like your place number already?
yeah, we've already got we're not adding and we're not changing any. So, we're still gonna have 5 at-large council members, and, so there's no change in that. But if we were going to give ourselves a raise, or give the next council a raise,
Well, I like,
that deadline's already passed.
I like Myrtle's suggestion.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, you can hang that up.
But anyway, this just give you an idea of what we are gonna have to do over the next several months. Starting in May and June, and July are gonna be the busy months on preparation for the municipal elections. And just for general information, qualification for the election will begin July the 5th and end on July the 19th for the August 23rd election. Yep. And we're going to do everything within our power to use electronic voting machines again, just to eliminate, sorry for that, to eliminate the hassle of hand counting ballots. So, yes,
If nobody contests, do you still have to have an election?
now, if at the end of qualification, if only one person registers or qualifies for a position, they're pretty much just take office in November.
Clerk
So
has
if
to
nobody
certify,
runs against who's in now,
the clerk has to
we don't even
certify
have
the
to
slate.
get a vote machine.
I'm sorry, I
Correct.
didn't hear you for him.
Well, I can guarantee you, there'll be somebody running
Okay.
against us. I mean, I could just about bet that we'll have to have an election.
And you said,
The clerk has to certify a slate of candidates based on how many qualify in each place. If there's a place that only one person qualifies for, that wouldn't be on the ballot. But there would be, by being the only qualified person on the roster, but the clerk has to certify that and probate judge.
Mr. Mayor, of those who want to run against you all, do they not have to qualify do all of this also?
Yes,
Yes.
yes,
And they have to go online and do their
ethics form.
ethics form and show us proof of that?
This actually does detail the requirements of the candidates, what they're required to do. If any of us decide to run for reelection, most of ours, we've already done this because particularly the ethics form, we have to do it every year anyway. So we already have ours filed for this year. But whoever decides to qualify for a position and run, they will be required to complete the ethics form within 5 days of qualification, or their name will be removed. But I mean, they call it a calendar, but it does give quite a bit of detail on what needs to be done.
Because in the regular primary elections, the ethics form had to be filed simultaneously with qualifying. So like if you qualified today, you had to either go online and do it that day or have it postmarked by that day. I don't know if that's something that's different that
I
they've
think,
done for municipal elections or not.
if I remember what I read today, they have, the Ethics Commission has to notify the clerk within 5 days of the
They have 5 days
qualification.
to notify the clerk, but I think that if someone comes to qualify, they're supposed to do their ethics filing simultaneously with.
And it's very easy to do online. It's all done online. And I think when I qualified during the last election, I filled out my ethics form prior to coming down here to qualify, and I just handed him the printout.
Which is the best way to do it, but
Yeah.
I mean, the Ethics Commission has 5 days to notify the clerk that they file those papers. I
Right.
think they have to be filed almost simultaneously with qualifying.
It doesn't say exactly that way here, but that's what I would interpret it, because they do have to notify the clerk, and the clerk is required to remove the name from the ballot if the person fails to submit that form.
How you gonna remove that name from the ballot that close to the election?
Well,
Well,
it's not that close
It's
to
not
the
that
election.
close. You have to do it in the qualifying period. Because qualifying closes,
Okay.
Closes it July the 19th.
what, it's 6 weeks before the, closes 5 to 6 weeks before the election.
Do we have to go online and, with the ethics committee?
Yours is fine
go through
because
that
you've already
again
done it
this
for the year. Yours will count for the year.
Yeah, we've
already
already
did.
done it for this year.
Oh,
Yeah, we do it every
I
year.
know.
But so we're.
You don't have to redo it if you've already done it for this year. Just if you haven't done it, if you're a new candidate and you haven't done it, then you have to do it. But if you've done it for 2016, that'll suffice for the election.
Yeah,
oh,
so we've all done ours.
Okay, that, when the last time that y'all did them, that was for this year.
Yeah.
oh, okay.
So, I mean, we've been on you about that every year
I
to
know.
get that done.
Yeah, we
So,
did that. We did that.
But anyway, it does give a lot of information, 7 pages long, there's a lot of stuff in here.
What is the date that the clerk has to certify the ballot? to elect the candidates?
Well, I think in the municipal election, is it the clerk or?
There has to be a period for challenges and then after the period of challenges for the clerk. I think it's the clerk.
Is that July the 19th?
That's a good day.
Is this,
What?
on February 1st, it says last day for candidates who were involved in a runoff.
No, this is,
Here, take that one.
there should be an extra copy.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, we got it.
You don't want to be
Yeah, it looks like it's 19. It's when I'm supposed to have the ballots printed, beginning on the 19th. That's it?
July 19th that morning. Had me, she said, but I
Right.
was not named.
Right.
Now, I don't know.
But I was 6 weeks old.
July the 19th, you might file a list of qualified voters.
I gotta go home now, this chair's getting money.
What is the question? What are we looking
I'll
for?
start leaning now.
Oh, that's fine, Mayor, I'll.
Okay. Well, we've still got a little time to work on this and work out the details on it. But the main purpose of just giving everybody a copy of it so that they know what's coming. And that we do have certain responsibilities and obligations to carry out for the election. One thing I do want to ask of the council now is to start thinking of individuals that we can approach for working the polls for the election. We'll have at least one inspector and 3 clerks, a minimum, with the electronic machines. So we're gonna have to find somebody that's not going to, that is not gonna be part of the slate of candidates that can work the poll for us.
Do they have to live in one county?
They have to live in county line to
City
vote.
limits.
I'm talking about to work.
Oh,
No,
Might be blunt,
Like,
it has to
could,
be.
I think, could we ask him to work?
Well, I like, my mother would be perfect for it. She lives in
How
Jefferson
about
County.
you?
She ain't
I mean, I'll work, I'll do whatever I need.
They have to be a county line resident.
I'm talking about to
to work.
volunteer.
Long
Monitor.
as they're a county line resident.
Oh, okay, they gotta be, okay.
It can be Jefferson or Blunt, but it has to be a county
Right.
line resident.
Okay.
Yeah, so we have a limited pool to draw from, but
Can't use that.
please start
It's not in our
considering
city limits, right?
who we might be able to ask to perform that duty. Because I'm assuming that most everybody at the council table today are going to be running again.
I'm running.
Yeah, all right.
Mr. Mordecai.
He's running.
Okay, any other questions, or any questions about the election, upcoming election?
do we have to fill out all that paperwork like we did the first year we ran?
Yes, ma'am.
There'll be a qualification form,
Qualification.
and I don't remember exactly what it was, but I think they'll also have the ethics form to be filled out manually, where we can have those done electronically. But I don't think that the paperwork is as intensive as it was. Okay, and one of these items on this list was establishing the qualification fees. Yeah, June the 30th will be the last day that council may adopt an ordinance establishing qualification fees.
So we
I don't
gotta
anticipate
pay.
that we're going to be doing that.
Oh, we're not gonna,
We're not gonna have a fee?
Hmm?
We don't have a fee.
We didn't last time,
That's,
and I don't,
Mayor, I know Mr. Grigg over here, he's such a diabolical and steel trap mind. And
What you say?
with this deal, do you think it would be to the people that's holding the election, it would be really good if we could have him here with us? If we have, people, so we'd just be perfect, because it'd be under a lot of scrutiny.
Who are you talking about?
but I know, I think
You talking about our?
Sue may be referring to the difficulties we had during the last election with
Absolutely.
our poll watchers. The poll watchers were put over in the corner with all the registration and all the checking and processing was done over here
And we got
like
cussed
this.
out too.
And,
We got cussed out.
You got cussed
And
out?
also, I was cussed out.
well, yeah.
That wasn't that simple.
Van was
So anyway,
cussed out. And he cussed
yeah,
out.
I reported it to the sheriff of Jefferson County.
They also stood behind you when you were voting.
Mhm. Yeah. Anyway, they were not allowed to observe anything.
We had people take votes out of people's hands, and they sit and filled out and didn't even ask them who to vote for. And one person was saying, I don't wanna vote for them. Yeah, you do. We just had blatant stuff like that coming in. People we'd never heard of, people that didn't even know if they were up or down, we just had all kind of stuff. So,
We don't have that.
we need
We
somebody that
don't
can give us
have
a
a
call.
list, a voters list. that
We have a
where-
purge
Mayor has to
list.
certify a voter
I
list.
have to
But
go-
they can come in.
If they weren't on
I think you
there.
have to appoint someone to do that if you're going to be a candidate. So-
Yeah, I'm gonna have to point,
It's kinda like in the state with
But
somebody.
it was awful.
but, well,
Hmm?
we're not gonna, our election's not gonna run like that. I can
But if
guarantee
we
you.
have him, he knows everything, or he thinks he does.
It's,
That's no half of everything, so don't get the.
I don't want you too puffed up, Greg.
What's he supposed to know?
He's not a resident and he's not aligned with anybody, so he's completely,
He's neutral.
I mean, that's,
Well, the thing is, you have to start out with a good voter list.
right?
And from being party chairman in the county of Blount County and overseeing that election from the party standpoint, there's certain restrictions on poll watchers. Number one, you have to designate them, and they are just that. They're watchers. They can't be any
They
way
can report,
actively
that's all.
participate in the election. They can't wear any kind of campaign paraphernalia. And where you position them in the room is not so much, they can't be where they could be interjected into the process in any way. So there's not a lot that I can say about putting them on one side of the room and the election taking place on the other side of the room. Now, if there's improper stuff between here and there, then the poll watcher's duty is to report it to the chief election
There
official.
was like 8 people living in one trailer we'd never heard of.
But they ought to be on the list. That's why I said, if they're not on the list, they don't get a ballot. If you're gonna vote
Absolutely.
electronically,
But
They
they would,
gave them a ballot.
they really lived in Tarrant City and we knew it, and we they wouldn't let us go up and get their names so we could challenge them.
well, the way to approach that is your election workers, if someone is not on the list, they should only be allowed to vote a provisional ballot.
But they were on this, Greg, but they were not residents, and we knew they weren't.
Well, that's why I said,
But we
election
didn't know
day,
their name.
election
They wouldn't let us
days-
know we're not.
election days is the last, is too late really to work on that list. It needs to be a good list prepared well in it, because when the chief election official, the mayor, or whoever he appoints, certifies this is the list of voters, then that's the list of voters. If somebody comes in, they're not on that list, they shouldn't be given a regular ballot. They should be given a provisional
We have
ballot.
provisional voters, but
And
like I
if they-
said, there were some imported in just for this. And then we challenged them and they trickled off, but I mean, they were coming in hot and heavy.
Well-
We started challenging, but they wouldn't let us know their names, so we could say we challenged Joe Smith. You with me?
Well, that's what I'm saying, you did that on election day.
Yes,
The time, the chief election official is supposed to publish a list of qualified voters in
okay.
advance of that day,
Like Blount County.
like any county.
Anybody.
We'd need to purge it then.
And then if you have somebody, if John Q. Public is on that list and somebody knows that John Q. Public is not a resident of County Line, is not a qualified elector within that county, then that challenge needs to be made to the Board of Registrars then,
Right.
before that date.
Okay.
Election.
That's the reason for publishing that list well in advance.
Okay.
And if somebody's name is
Well,
not
see, we
on that
didn't know
list when
that.
it comes out,
Then they
then
didn't,
they
that's
need to
where the
let
list
us
was
know.
posted on the door, because I remember taking pictures of it,
Yes.
because I couldn't get a
he's,
copy of it.
you gotta,
But it
and
was
so that,
posted
see,
that
if the
day.
mayor's gonna be a candidate, he
It was
can't serve
posted
as
that
chief
day.
election
No,
official.
It was posted before the election, but it wasn't
But-
too far.
But it needs, that list needs to be
But is
published
it-
and.
Is it, could we just get you to kind of, in and out? I'm talking out of kilter here.
Well, I think that it's I know, I'd love to have Greg here all day, but
He can
I think if he would be available for advice on how to handle something.
I think in working through several elections, the things that you really, if all the work is done properly before election day, things work a lot smoother on election day. Getting your voter list right, appointing good poll workers, having those poll workers instructed on, if somebody's not on the list, we're not taking it, we're not gonna give them a ballot. voting provisional ballot, those are the kind of things. And in municipal elections where you have an incumbent mayor who may, I don't know what Mayor Self's intentions are, but let's say Mayor
It
Self.
better be incumbent.
If Mayor Self elects him again, then he's gonna need to appoint an election official.
Right.
So, and that person is the person you want here on that day.
In charge.
In charge. And that's one of the powers of the position, is you can appoint someone that you entrust is gonna hold a fair and impartial
Well,
election.
could you be available, as Mayor said, for consult?
I'm gonna
Would
do
you
what,
answer your phone?
just don't call from your number.
I know, he never answers my phone.
One
Could you
thing
blame-
is that we'll be in control of the election this year.
It'll be done correctly,
So,
yeah.
yeah.
But still, something's coming up, and we need to be able to talk to somebody
Yeah.
with just a little more sense than we do, just a little more. And-
I'll do whatever the town
Thank you.
requests, but,
Thank
I mean,
Thank
but
you.
those things you do prior to election day are vitally important. to
Can
make
each
sure-
one of them have a poll watcher?
Sure,
Every candidate. is-
every candidate's allowed a poll watcher, but they're watchers, I mean, remember that, they can't interject themselves, they can make notes and
Okay, but if a poll watcher sees something that's not on the up and up, can they not go to the person in charge of the poll and
then
say,
go to the inspector and say,
okay,
I
this
want to
is
report the
this,
discrepancy, and then
right,
go
right.
assume your position again, that's the way that ought to go.
Okay, thank you, that's what I was curious about, because I think that should be allowed, to be able to go to the person and report
And
whatever.
they should report it to the inspector and to the, whoever the chief
Right,
election
Are you
official is.
taking
Right.
all this in?
hmm?
Are you taking all this in?
Probably gonna be the
For
bouncer
this-
down here.
I'm new to this, to the county line, and I'll help in any way I can. I mean, I know everybody, I don't know everybody, but I have no bias, no favor. So I'm willing to do whatever to help this community grow. That's my goal.
One of the best things, and I think you've already talked about doing it, but is to pay the money, rent the machine, and have the ballots tallied
Absolutely.
electronically.
Yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely.
And that's expensive to do,
Oh, yeah,
but it's
Money
money
well
well spent.
spent.
yeah, money well
Well,
spent.
Greg, do we have to have a backup machine?
They only had one where we balloted.
No, I think they didn't have a backup machine. They're
They need to
required to
just
have a
have a-
backup.
They did have a backup where we voted.
I
Now,
think you're
self, I have-
required to, I mean,
Yeah,
Yeah, anything could go wrong.
but that should be included in the same,
Two in the front.
Right.
so it's gonna be about $4,500 to hold an election.
That's,
Unfortunately, that is true.
I need something to eat.
Yeah. Anyway, that's, I did want to introduce this to the council tonight so that we can start being prepared. And we definitely need to set the money aside and budget for this election and figure, poll watch, we're gonna have to pay for the poll watchers for that day. Probably meals included, so we have to budget for the poll workers and the machines, and the
You gonna feed
machines,
everybody, buddy?
Hmm?
You gonna feed all the poll?
poll workers.
The poll watchers do not get fed.
No, that's,
You bring
Poll
your water
watchers.
sandwich.
they have to go to their candidate. No, but, anyway, we do have a budget, and, we need to budget at least $4,500 for the machines and the printing that's associated with ballots. So we're probably gonna be looking at close to $5,000 for this election.
That's okay. The money well
Yeah.
spent.
But I'd much rather have the machines do the tallies than trying to hand count. And a lot less errors involved, so
Mr.
anyway. All right, I did have a proposed ordinance that we will address during the next meeting with an agreement with the Birmingham Waterworks Board. But we'll wait and let Greg review it before we address it. So we'll pick that up at the next meeting. All right, the council have any business?
Did we ever find out anything? Did we get the roof repaired?
Yes, it has been repaired, and as of yet, it shows no signs of leaks. Yes, that was repaired. And paper towels over there still dry
Still dry.
on the floor,
No water in the
and no water in the
bath.
bucket, so.
I came and emptied it and put dry paper towels down in the house.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on it, you know, when we get into this rainy season.
Mayor, when I spoke with Van earlier, and he is gonna put that, he and Kyle are gonna put some numbers together and get them to us as soon as possible. He mentioned,
2016.
I mentioned to him that to include these tiles here.
Right,
And he asked me how many needed to be replaced. He was thinking like more than half of them needed, so he would go ahead and plug in enough to do it all. He said, those aren't expensive, but I'm thinking not. I'm thinking not a big amount. I think if you needed to move some of them around even, I think, just a few
maybe,
will do it. I don't
maybe
think we need
10,
Well, you have to think about what's in the bathroom also.
yeah.
5, 6. Well, that's in that quote in there.
Well,
2,
we're just
3,
done
4, 5, 6.
10 to 15.
I'm only seeing 7.
As long as you don't run the air conditioner in the summer and it gets
8.
hot, it's gonna all boat. It's gonna always boat.
Gotta check the bathroom.
Uh,
Yeah.
The ones with the water stains, yeah, that's the only ones I'm
There's
really
8
concerned
of
with.
them, 8 to 10, we
Yeah.
could just say.
Anyway, that'll be fine.
Just add about 10 tiles in there.
Yeah, I think that should do it.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, buddy, we talked about an ordinance for junk in the yard. Are we anywhere on that? Having junk cars and
Oh, a
automobiles,
nuisance ordinance?
nuisance?
No, we haven't got anything yet on that, but,
I wanna add something to that. The trailer park at the end of Coppersville Road. My sister came by there the other day and she came in yelling at me because they had, and it's been there for a while, but they moved it the next day. But they had mattresses and everything, I guess where somebody had moved out and they just had all this stuff and it stayed up there for well over a month, maybe 2 months. And my sister, she was really upset about it because there was kids out there playing on it. And, that stuff carries diseases but she said that the next day when she went out, that they had loaded it in a trailer and they were going out in front of her and they turned in at the other trailer park that she owns up here.
New bedding,
Huh?
new bedding.
So I don't know what they did with it up there, but
They have a burn pile in the back.
Did they bring it to the one at the stop four-way?
Yes,
yeah.
I was behind Pat. They went all the way to the end, dumped it in that
Well,
bucket.
they usually burn in the compound. They have a burn pile in the middle of the trailers, and that's where they burn their
In the first
garbage.
place, they don't need to dump that stuff out on the ground for kids to be playing in. That's not.
Brenda, there is raw sewage going on top of the ground under the trailer.
Up here.
No.
It's not even
Is
hooked
there
up.
anything, there's children that live in that trailer park.
It needs to be condemned.
Something about safe,
That-
sound, and sanitary, does that?
can the county health departments do anything about that?
Water chips.
What?
It's in Blount.
Are both of her
You-
parks in one?
The town with the health department can, but there would be, for you to enact an ordinance, you'd have to give certain notice, have time for a public hearing. There's a process to go through to enact that ordinance. You have a problem with the ones that are could be quote grandfathered in, but what you could affect is turnover,
Yeah,
more so than going in and making wholesale changes on what's there now. So that'd be something the council might want to consider. But you'd have to propose the ordinance, you'd have to publish it. I think you'd even, if it's in the Blount County side, they probably run an article in the Blount County and to make sure that you have more than adequate public notice
mhm.
posted here, and then all those that would be affected by it should get probably individual notice of some way, or a proposed ordinance.
Oh, they wouldn't,
Couldn't they
'cause
give
you-
individual notice and say it's been brought to our attention that this is raw sewage on the ground and we can give you 10 days to fix this problem as a town? And then have the health department come in and say, is this fixed?
Do we need to let the health department know that when we
What-
when we give them notice?
The problem is that if it's been going on. you've
For
got to-
years.
You've got to give notice and give adequate time.
What's adequate time?
I'd have to look and say, I'm guessing offhand, it's probably 60 days, 60 to 90.
Mr. Gregg, you know that causes typhus and typhoid. It's from sewage.
That's not all it costs. A lot of it.
Well,
Buddy,
Well, I think the first thing we need to do is entertain the ordinance and just start the steps that we need to do, public notice, everything.
If it's within the town limits, the town has the authority to regulate public health matters within the town.
Mhm.
There again, one of the problems that a lot of towns this size and even some slightly larger is enforcement. Is how you're going to enforce it, you know. You would almost need to do it with a permitting. It's kind of probably good timing that you're taking up the waterworks issue at the same time, because, you know, they should get some kind of permit to get utilities. Now, you know, if they're spilling raw sewage on the ground under trailer, utilities may not be a necessity to them, you know, no. But that's where your enforcement comes in, if you don't release or approve for them to have utility service until these situations are effective. Then you also have to have an inspector. You know, you have to-
Do we not have an inspector?
We don't have one ourselves, but I know that Hayden's
You don't have to
got
hire
one.
one, but you contract one.
Right. There's inspectors available when we need them.
That would be something you might want to build in a $25 inspection fee, and then the fee go pay the inspector.
We used to have $50 inspection fee.
Yeah, well, I mean, for
There's
electrical, we do, that's the only one that we have right now, is an electrical inspection
Yeah.
for setting poles.
Hooking up electricity.
In Jefferson County, you've got to have all that done before they'll turn the power on.
Right.
Down in
And
Blount
that's your enforcement. I mean, that's how you can enforce. I mean, if you go say, you know, we're gonna cite you for not having proper sewage drain off, and they don't do it, what are you gonna do?
We used to.
You have to, can you go to the
have
water company and say anything like water, sewer, nothing?
Well, I mean, that's one of the things when you do your franchise agreement, franchise ordinance with the waterworks, is part of our agreement is you don't turn on any water until we approve it.
Okay. See, that's what the power company does, not do it until they get a notice from us.
Water do the same thing,
That it's
gas
okay.
do the same thing.
Oh, okay.
Well, you know, that's not true about the electricity, because I was down there paying my bill last night, and they asked me how I like my new renters.
How you
And
what?
I said, what do you mean? I said, I don't have any. And they said, we called you and you told us they were new renters. So they called and okayed their power.
Who okayed your power?
They did, the people okayed their own power.
Who was that?
I'll
Told
tell
them
you.
that they were you.
They told them
Is that
they were-
You need
ordinance,
to
or
put
that suggested
codes on your
ordinance from the
account.
Waterworks Board, doesn't have that
We can ask them.
stipulation? We'll do that, and let's go ahead and entertain was it a nuisance or?
Well, it's not
public
so
health
much a
ordinance?
nuisance, it'd be a public health ordinance, isn't it? You know?
Okay.
Yeah.
Public health.
That includes
Sounds
junk
good.
cars and,
Junk cars would be more of a nuisance type ordinance. It would be, you know, some municipalities have grass cutting ordinances, some have, you know. And you have the authority to assess a fine, but it's just enforcement and collection.
Yeah.
Fine, you know, that-
You can't put that on their taxes, you can't attach it.
It's like all this back here is what you're talking about.
no ma'am, I'm talking about on Smith Mill Road. We got a new a new junkyard started on Smith Mill Road.
A junkyard now
Yeah,
over on
Sure
Smithfield?
does.
Is
First
it-
house on the right, as soon as you pass the church.
And that's in Blunt
Yeah,
County or
there's 6
Jefferson?
vehicles
Well-
sitting down there right now.
Okay.
That's what
Same.
a
Yeah,
junkyard.
yeah.
And one thing you might consider there is just have a nice letter from the mayor and the clerk that says, we noticed you put in a new business. Here's our business license fee, we would expect you to pay it on your
Yeah,
junkyard.
they got
that
the
you
business
got.
of it.
Well, if
Yeah,
they got
if they come
business,
up here and
Or
pay
else
for
clean it
business
up.
license, then they're free to go.
That's what I'm saying, if you don't have an ordinance against a junkyard, you at least ought to collect a business license for having it.
Yeah. And
well, then we can do the
make that
business
one
license for not having
Yeah.
paid a business license for that. We can handle that. I can handle that. I can enforce that.
The business license can be structured where it makes it very expensive to
The
have.
longer you
Cost
wait,
prohibitive.
Yeah. And it also applies to the one right behind us here too.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is a
Did we-
junkyard.
He's
right
doing
there.
pretty good back here right now. He's not,
stand out a little bit.
I'm not talking about this one, I'm talking
This
about.
one here, yeah. Did we, didn't we talk about doing an additional fee on business license if they were not paid by a certain time? Did we talk about that, or was that?
Like a delinquent charge, like,
A delinquent charge on business license, you know, if they're supposed to be paid in January, if they're not paid until
the 1st of March.
March, by the 1st of March, then there is a $25 or $15 or something fee.
I don't,
Is that something y'all have to?
I don't
vote on?
recall us ever talking about it, and I don't think there's
I
anything
may
in
have
the,
had the conversation.
in the ordinance. But we need to double check the ordinance to see if it does have something in there. I don't recall anything, but it may have. But we need to look at that first. But I guess that, we've got a couple of ordinances that we need to entertain, a nuisance ordinance and a public health ordinance. And then the ordinance for the, waterworks agreement.
Buddy, if somebody had called the health department, I know where they give a guy and I was working for him 10 days to clean up something that somebody cut the pipe from the trailer to the tank. Health department gave this guy 10 days to clean it all up. And we had to go in there and clean it up and everything. They give him, but somebody complained on it.
What county?
Blunt County.
Means more coming from the town than it does from the individual.
Well, if it will help, I'll call public health or the health department, Blount County's health department,
Be sure I
And
call
ask them-
Brazil trying to park on that too.
and ask them to investigate reports of raw sewage.
Well, that is
Well, that's not gonna be hard.
Well, if they have children, DHR would be a good phone call to make. Because that's not a, that is not a place for those children to live.
That's what my sister was upset about when she saw them out there on all that.
And
those old
DHR is probably
mattresses and
gonna be
everything.
quicker to
Lucy, and
act
she's
than
come-
the health
She had no community issues, did she?
Now, part of this trailer park up here is in Jefferson County,
The back part.
The back part.
because when I went visiting up there, part of the kids went to Jefferson County schools, and part of them went to Blount County School. So there's I don't know exactly where the boundary is, but part of that trailer park is in Jefferson County.
The furthest part probably is.
It was
all the way
more or
to the
less on
end.
this side.
Because,
All of that was Blount County.
Well, let me give the health department a call. And may even drop a bug in the HR since there's kids involved. And see what they can do for us
Yeah,
there.
the sheriff's department.
Sure, dog, do you need
They're
some,
the-
some areas to tell them about? Do you need
Well-
an address or something to give them?
And I can tell them, yeah, I can tell them which trailer parks are, where the trailer parks are.
Okay.
And it's, complaints about both of them.
Yeah.
This is with the trouble with all the mosquitoes out. I know I'm highly allergic to mosquitoes, and I don't wanna get more than what I'm bargaining for by buying either.
Yeah.
You get a lot of them from this swamp over here on Deans Ferry Road and County Line Road and Deans Ferry. You notice that swamp over to the right-hand side? That's where a lot of the mosquitoes are coming from.
All right. Well, we got several things to work on. I've got several things to work on. Any other comments or other business?
Did they tell you when they're gonna be through with Deans Ferry?
No, nobody's told me anything about Deans Ferry. I just saw the machines
Well, it's
tonight.
a mud hole.
They said April, middle of April, they'll pave it soon.
They're gonna put one coat of gravel, tar and gravel.
That's all they're gonna do?
That's all they're gonna
That's
do.
all they gonna put on cobwebs in.
They told us April, and it would be April before they did that.
And the drain pipes, there's no header. They could put riprap in there, and that's real cheap. They're not, they're not gonna build header walls, but it's gonna move. They just stuck it in there. I mean,
And
it's gonna
somebody would
be,
have,
it's gonna be bad.
it's gonna be bad, cause like, if I meet Sue Francis, she's in the middle of the road, and I can't get over, cause I'm gonna hit the middle, I'm gonna run off the pipe. Other day down a car stopped, a tomato car, because the road had washed away. And I told the guy about it, and he said, well, ain't nothing to do about it.
Some of
I didn't
our
get
roads-
voted back in.
Some of our roads washed away too.
Right. And the attitude of the commissioner we got now, he don't care, cause he didn't get his job back. And that riprap, buddy, you can buy 20 ton of it for like $150.
And I mean, you keep it from washing. There's
You
nothing
keep
to
it from washing. I mean,
Nothing
ain't
to
nothing you could do since the county take it back over. But they not gonna put but one coat of tar and gravel on it.
We might think about going to the county meetings and make them see your face when you talk.
Do you know
To the commissioner meeting.
Trafford mayor?
No, who is the Trafford mayor now?
Lee Moats.
Lee
Lee
Moats.
Moats.
They don't.
That's who it was before the election. I don't, did he get back in?
Who?
Lee Moats.
Lee Moats.
No.
I was just wondering if there's anything y'all could do about when the road's closed. If we could get some kind of signs put up, letting us know before we go all the way down where you're traffic.
That's hard turning around, isn't
I
it?
know.
When did they have
At the
to
bottom
run?
of, at the bottom of the hill.
Caldwell flood.
when it's
How the big one.
They don't put a sign at the top of the hill up there
No.
letting you know?
No,
How you go all the way over
you just
to it.
get down there and then
I
you
know.
gotta figure out how to get.
If I said something, they go, but if the mayor and the council suggested, hey, is there any way we can
That's a county.
put some signs up?
That,
Was that type of
That's
water?
it's
true.
a warrior, when
Yeah.
It's the top of the hill coming
Go
down,
around that further
and then
church.
it's
They do
Trafford
all that and come down.
going,
Then the creek is out there.
Yeah, but I
Up the
think,
hill.
I think the county's the one that puts the signs out, so
Say no
Trafford
through
would.
when I saw, the last time it was
That is county
closed,
line.
I was
It's in
behind
the city.
the city workers. I followed them all the way down to the last road on the right, and they stopped and put the cones, or the barrels out with the blockade.
And that was the town?
That was
City of
City of
Warrior.
Warrior did it.
City of Warrior did that?
Well,
Well, they did it probably out of goodness of their heart because it's a county road.
Right. But
Well, if the city's gonna do it, then they'll do it at the top of the hill, that not, shouldn't that, to the bottom.
But there's a road about halfway down the hill, or the way down it.
But they should make no through traffic.
They should at least have something up there
Something
to
like that
Elvester,
should
so
point
you
there's a
can
danger.
turn, you know,
Yeah,
but that's not.
I'm
I don't know what
gonna
to
be a
say
little
about
picky,
that.
but
I don't know. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Don't go down Dean's Ferry Road when it floods, cause they know wanted to get down to the Sackett Hill, cause there was a car slid right down to the edge of the water.
really,
And I called the courthouse, they come down there and put crime tape across the road. So I called the commission, he said, we can't afford barricades, we ain't in our budget. And I told him, I said, is it gonna be in y'all budget when somebody drowns, cause y'all don't have a warning system out? And that lawyer right there tell you, it ain't when it's gonna happen, it's if it's gonna be when.
Well, I know that during that last bout of bad rain, Christmas
Christmas
night,
flood.
with all the flooding around, I know there's a lot of things that get blocked off, but they were notifying everybody the best they could through electronic means.
Well, David Standridge called me and asked if we needed any help, and I said, yeah. And so I guess Mackie called too, so they went down there and put crime tape across it, the road. Cause they had no barricades.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ain't nothing you can do about it, ain't no need worrying about it, till somebody has a real legal complaint.
Yeah, I can just pass it on. All right. Anything else?
Buddy, I've been asked to see if y'all will put up a street light down there right below, you know where George Hypen, that's his last name, Sue?
Cloninger.
What?
Cloninger.
Yeah, he asked me the other day, would y'all put up a street light? I told him I didn't know.
Where is that?
Right there on Cobb Brazil. You know where you go in the last curve before you go up the hill? By Fairly Bobo's and them? Tony goes up Maxwell
You'd
Ryan.
hit 5 residences.
Now, where does he live?
Buffalo Man.
Buffalo man.
Oh, okay.
Cause you got a street light where you live, and they've got this
I don't
Curtis
think
and
it's
Jean.
working right now.
Well, you
This-
haven't let me know, you haven't told me.
This side of before you go up the hill, and then it would hit 5 driveways right there.
Right.
And it's at Bobo's, Fred?
I can
No,
say
right
that.
before this side.
I have to look at it, so I can't say yes or no.
Well, would you mind considering it?
We'll have to take a look at it and see where, exactly where it is, okay? I
You wouldn't
have
have
an
to set a
idea
pole, you wouldn't have to
close.
set a pole.
Hmm?
I don't think you'd have to set a pole.
No, you won't
Poles
have,
over
they won't
there.
have to set a pole or nothing.
There's already a pole there.
Right.
We need an address.
104 Cobb Brazil Road. Now, if it's the correct address you want,
That's what I was
Probably wanna
asking.
know the
104
code number.
Cobb Brazil Road.
Okay, I have a question for the Councilman Brewer. He said something in the minutes last time about turning on streetlights. We have a list of what we turned off. You were a part of that, and I have the list here. You can come and tell me which lights you are referring to, because we had left lights on where they were pertinent for driveways for where people live. We turned off ones that were in pastures. So I need you to come and see Lucy and myself with the list, and for you to find out what poles you're talking about.
You need the numbers on
I
it.
know, I haven't finished getting all the numbers off of them.
Okay,
I haven't been down Converselle or Deans Ferry yet.
okay. Well, we only
There's not
turned,
any.
because see, you and Mr. Philpott and myself rode and looked at lights, and we checked the ones that we were gonna turn off. And everybody was in agreement. And now you want to turn them back on, and I don't think all of them need to be back on.
Well, we just need to verify
Yeah.
that, number one, they may just be not working,
Yeah.
and that's why we need to know.
Well, that's what was said, the two that I was really
I didn't
actually
turn it
pointing out
on.
was they're off.
You were paying.
And,
One over the road.
yeah, when I gather all my information, I'll bring all of it at one time.
Okay. All right,
Wasn't supposed to
Buddy,
turn it on.
does the town pay for any lights on Danes Ferry or Carl Brazil?
Yeah.
How many?
I don't know,
Got the
off
list.
the top of my head, but we got a list.
We have to have poll numbers, where the poll numbers are, and I think you and I went too, Sue, we went through all of that.
We went twice, Brenda.
Yeah, so I don't know, we'll just have to get the list out, Alabama Power's got it, I have a copy of it. So, we can't just say, turn everything on, because we're just not gonna do that.
Okay. Well, we'll get the numbers, we can answer the questions.
Numbers of polls, that's what we gotta have.
All right. Anything else?
I make a motion, we adjourn.
I agree with you.
I second that.
Amen.
I second that.
All
Who
right,
did that?
we have a
Floyd
motion and a
seconded?
Boyd
second.
says that on 1 minute, he's ready to go.
Floyd seconded.
Boyd
All in
says that
favor?
1 minute, he's ready to go.
There you go.
All right, it's unanimous.
And who?
He was second that hat on.
Lloyd did, okay.
Floyd seconded.
I knew when he's got that hat, he's
All right,
ready
the
to
meeting is
go.
adjourned. Thank you for coming.
There's no question.